Welcome back to another video where I'm going to be reading your anime comments and we are going to be reacting to them, responding to them, addressing them, so forth. We're going to start out with the original Black Clover versus My Hero Academia video, and we're going to address the comments in that first, and then we're going to move on to the other video, which is the more recent Black Clover one, which has a couple of comments I wanted to address. Okay. All right. Comment 1. Super Mario Strange 2. The thing is, character development in Black Clover is much more realistic, while in My Hero Academia, they transform into completely different people in the span of a single fight or flashback. Well, I feel like this is just plain stupid. Realistic events happen in fights and flashbacks. If I have a flashback to where I see my parents die, I'm not going to be the same person as I was after that. Or if I have a fight with a villain and I have my two best friends with me who are also heroes fighting alongside with me, and my two best friends die in this fight, yeah, I'm not going to be okay, buddy. Think my mic's peaking a little bit, so I'm going to decrease the sound just a tad. All right. You're not going to be okay. You're going to be a different person, maybe a little bit darker, maybe a little bit more edgier. And the same thing happens in Black Clover. For example, you watch Mars change completely in a flashback. You watch Luck change in the course of a fight, and that's all in the same arc, right at the beginning of the story. This point is just incorrect and stupid. Most of these I haven't even taken a look at, so we're going to be seeing most of these comments for first time together. Lord Fuckface says, Black Clover is better. Done. Thank you, Lord Fuckface, for your comment. Much appreciated. Moving on. I'm Dad says, I love both series, but I enjoyed Black Clover a little bit more than My Hero. And I think this is a solid take. I had the same experience until I read the manga. I feel like where the anime is currently, it's starting to get good. But until it really expands on the villains, I believe it is pretty, it's okay, but I enjoyed Black Clover a lot more. And now I like them pretty similarly after I've looked into the manga in My Hero Academia. Moving on. All right. Edson Ramirez says Black Clover does a better job at developing side characters, while in My Hero Academia, there's an unnecessary amount of irrelevant characters. They are literally there for no reason. This is going to be the start of a fight in the comments. So he says that's why Black Bulls is better than Class 1A. And then the CEO of My Hero Academia himself says, bro, there's literally a side character that simps over his little sister. That's what's so great about that. And Deku has great development when he went from being a timid, shy kid towards being a class leader. All right. Not to mention the animation is horrible. Simply incorrect. The animation in My Hero Academia, I will admit, is better than Black Clover, but Black Clover's animation is really good. I love, especially when the animation style switches in when he's talking to his devil. I really like that. So he says the side character development is done better. I highly disagree with this. He said there's a massive amount of irrelevant characters. I also disagree with this. I feel like every character in My Hero Academia, there's no characters thrown in there for no reason. There's an argument to be made towards Mount Lady and Kamugi Woods that they're just there to introduce the concept of heroes, but it doesn't make them irrelevant, and they're not forgotten about after they're shown. I suppose you could argue that some of the Class 1B students are irrelevant, and I would tend to agree with this. I don't know why there's a point in making two classes just to have a rivalry within its school, as well as some of the other schools in that one arc where they're trying to get their provisional licenses. but they're mainly just there for being antagonists so we can watch our main characters grow. I wouldn't say they didn't have a purpose. I would just say they're just antagonistic characters in their arcs. They're designed to be foils to main characters to help them grow and advance. Uh, just like how I wouldn't argue that half the side characters in The Eye of the Midnight Sun or the um, king of the Spade Kingdom or the Diamond Kingdom, when they're all antagonistic, I wouldn't argue that they're useless characters who are irrelevant. I feel like they serve a purpose in the arcs that they're in, and that's about it. He says Black Clover does a better job at developing side characters. Kind of. Um, I feel like the development in My Hero Academia is a lot slower and a lot more realistic, but I do like the development in Black Clover just a tad better, just because it hits more emotionally when it does happen. And typically more characters develop at the same time than the slower, more focused development in My Hero Academia. But let's respond to this fight now because there is a lot here. This is only the first thread of this long fight. He says Brother's literally a character who simps over his sister. Mineta simps over everyone and he's disgusting. So I don't really know what argument you're making here. And then you mentioned that Deku has great development, which I agree with, does not make him likable. Deku is a great written character, but he is the most unlikable human being I've ever met. um, Also, Deku is not a side character. He's a main character. He's the main character. This is like arguing, like, oh, well, Ghost developed very little, but Deku developed a lot. It's not the same thing. All right. So this is the response to that. He isn't simping. He is simping. There's no denying that. Ghosh is a huge sister simp. If you can't see that, you're blind and out of your mind. Plus, obviously, Deku has to be developed because he's the main character. Yeah. Okay. Good. Um, but every other character from Class 1A is just so boring. I would say with the besides, I like Bakugo. Yeah, all the characters are pretty, pretty mid. The animation isn't even that bad. You're just exaggerating. Yeah, that's true. The biggest problem is the art style, but apparently you don't know the difference. And yeah, My Hero Academia can have the best animation in the world, but it doesn't make it a good anime. Oh my god, solid points all the way through on Edson Ramirez. I'm gonna give him 1.2 or score. My Hero Academia responds with explain how Todoroki is boring. He's literally a character. What? There's literally a character in Mid Clover. I don't know why he keeps calling it that. Mid Clover that just eats and has the power of sheep. That is very fair. This is a strong ass comeback. Explaining how Todoroki is boring. Charmy is nothing but a deduction on the show, in my opinion. She's just there to be a MacGuffin and a plot device when the story needs her. She is probably my least favorite character from the Black Bulls, even though I love every moment that she's on the screen because she's so cute. But yeah, My Hero Academia totally has a point here. But I will explain how Todoroki is kind of boring. Because his only hint of character development was at the very, very, very beginning of the story, where he refused to use his fire powers, and then he used his ice powers, and now he just does nothing. He, he barely responds towards his father when there is development on the screen, and he just acts like a normal hero. Uh, that's about it. He's got a cool character design. That's about it. All right, next part of this fight. Let's see how my man's responds. Wait, what was the last message that this dude said? Oh god. What? Did I go back? Oh, I'm going back in time instead of forward. Uh Here we go. Power of Sheeps. Next one. Man, you really called Black Clover mid? You down bad. Okay, now we're just devolving. And about Charmy, she's actually the only one who hasn't gotten an actual story. Yep, that's true. But we know she's half dwarf. Yeah, she's a plot MacGuffin so far. Uh, and about My Hero Academia. Oh, I forgot to read more on the comment. Oh no. I'm gonna quickly pull up the comment on YouTube. Oh no, I'm messing up. So right now I am going to YouTube and trying to find where this is on my other monitor. Ah, okay. Found the video. I just need to find the comment thread. Gotta find the one with like 9 replies. Here it is. Read more. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Alright, there wasn't much more. Okay. So he says, he's half dwarf. And about My Hero Academia, can you tell me about, okay, the invisible girl, the guy with the mask and weird arms, the dude who can talk to animals, the pink girl, Momo, Kirishima, Ochako. He just lists pretty much every character. Um, and could you literally, they could literally die at any moment and no one would give a damn. I mean, even Noelle has better character development than Class of 1A. This is pretty true. When it comes to like developing the characters and actually showing them on screen, Black Clover does a better job at divvying out the characters and their on-screen roles and what they do. But that comes with the territory of it being a show about a military with soldiers rather than an actual class of students. Um, I guess we should pick apart some of these. So every character in My Hero Academia is okay. They all represent something, but he does have a point. Some of the characters are just there to be there. Um, I could, I guess, a good one to talk about is I like Kirishima's relationship with Ashido. They have a bit of a backstory, but besides them, they're the only characters that even get a little bit to elaborate on, and we mainly focus on the Deku, Bakugo, and basically the 3 characters who are closest to him, and then some of the characters get hella like stuck in the background, such as Sato and uh God, I can't even remember his name. The rock one who controls animals. Yeah, there's a lot more sidelining that happens in My Hero Academia. And then he says, "Bro, why do they need to make that many stories for characters? That's just wasting plot." What? Yes, depth is good, but too much of it could be bad. What is this dude talking about? Oh my god. So we have a garbage tier response on My Hero Academia's point. Too many stories for just wasting plot. If you make a good story, you're not wasting plot. If you have an interesting arc with character depth about one of the characters that pulls away from the main storyline, you're just increasing the enjoyment you see when you get that character on screen. You get to see his journey as he progresses, as he moves forward. There's no such thing as wasted plot. Adding more plot and more context to a story is only a good thing if it's done well, which in Black Clover, it for sure is. Unlike the paper thin characters in My Hero Academia. And then he says, "We already have great backstories like Deku, who got bullied, and Todoroki was treated horribly like his father." Wow, great backstories. Now, I will admit that Todoroki does have a great backstory. Deku's backstory, I want to say it's great. Very, very, very generic. Incredibly so. And I would even say Asta's backstory is a lot more deeper than it because in My Hero Academia, 20% of the population has quirks. In Black Clover, no one doesn't have magic. So when it comes to, I don't know, someone is born without something, Asta is definitely born at a lot more disadvantage, a lot of and with a lot more systemic abuse placed on top of it. Okay, moving on. Hey, is this fight done? Is this the last comment in the fight? This is the last comment in the fight. He says many stories. It almost has none. Only about 3 people have gotten developed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not wrong. Well, I would say more than three. I would say about 5 characters in Class 1A have been developed. And if you think about it, there's about 15 characters in Class 1A. I know we can't focus on all of them, but maybe we should. Or maybe there should just be less characters. And then there's 1B as well, which even more. Okay, only like 3 people have gotten developed, and if the author didn't want to develop all the irrelevant characters, you shouldn't have introduced them. And of course, the response to this ends, and yeah, I think Ensign Ramirez has won this comment fight. I don't know why I'm mediating fights in my comments, but that's what we're doing today. Moving on. Okay. So, Andrew Bachway says Black Clover has done some subtle love stories. Dorothy and Nozel, Gauche and Gret, I'm assuming he means Gray, Yuno and Mimosa, Ro and Charlotte. This doesn't really count, but most of the Blue Rose Knights have boyfriends. And it's also hinted that Soul loves Charlotte more than platonically, but it's a little iffy and subjective. Okay. So first of all, I'm about to pair this man a new asshole. Dorothy and Nozel. I never got that even a little bit. I'm not even sure if it's hinted by the story at that one. I know they technically have some sort of relationship with each other, but I'm not sure if it's anything more than just being fellow captains. Goshen Gray, I totally agree with this one. Yunin Mimosa, this is a trash tier opinion because Mimosa is always gushing over Asta in every situation under the sun. This is stupid. This is just wrong and incorrect. Every time she's on screen with Asta, we're always gushing about it. She even gushes about it in her own mini arcs. She wants to be more like him. Ro and Charlotte, what the hell? None of this has been hinted at even a little bit. This is kind of trash. And of course, yeah, Soul has a thing for Charlotte. I would say that the love stories in Black Clover are pretty fucking generic and garbage. Um, they're all like treated like dumb kids romance, even with the older characters such as Charlotte and Yami and Nozel and Asta, treated almost like jokes to the story, which I'd rather just not have it in the story at all than have it like this. I would say the love subplots would, in my opinion, subtract from Black Clover rather than adding to it. I would say the relationships are done much better in My Hero Academia. They're done with subtlety and not something so over the top, except with Deku and Ochako, who are both, emotionally inept, which makes sense for both of their characters and how they've been portrayed up until this point. But yeah, I think that's all I need to say about this comment. Moving on. Amazing video. Sherwin Williams says, amazing video. It was really well made. You just earned a new subscriber. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you stick around with us. We're going to be making more videos like this. There's another Black Clover video on the way. I want to talk about Asta's relationship with Yuno and how it's really well done in rivalries in anime and how it's a really refreshing take on the whole rivalry thing. And I really enjoy it. John Gamers says, I love this video. Thank you for loving this video. I appreciate your comment. Itachi Uchiha says Black Clover is better. Period. Epic opinion. My comments are very like it's pretty much a consensus that everyone enjoys Black Clover better. So it makes me feel pressured that I have to make these Black Clover videos, or else the algorithm just doesn't want to show it to anyone. Even if I just do a video on My Hero Academia, Black Clover just constantly just does so much better. So I'm gonna try to do some more videos on Black Clover, but getting I'm not teching. I can't make hundreds of videos on one show, even if it has, over 100 episodes of content. So we are going to move on. My Hero Academia says My Hero mid Clover. Simply incorrect. They're both really good shows, and which one you like is a matter of opinion. But we've seen your trash opinions, so I have to say goodbye. All right, next video we're going to be talking about is the other Black Clover video, which we only have 2 comments on, so we're wrapping it up. Okay. Rick Martinez. He says, you oversimplified some of the villains in Black Clover. As prime example, Revici, who was, that's the chain user who appeared in the very beginning, who was set up by, can't even fucking pronounce the name, the captain of the Blue Orcas, the first one, to take the fall on a mission and received his burned scar, and he was kicked out, which led him down a spiraling path, which was like played for comedy afterwards. This was the video I was discussing how the villains in Black Clover are way too simplistic, and they're treated more like just there to be evil type characters, which I still believe. Um, He also says, you also seem to have made a blunder when you said antagonists were better in My Hero Academia. I think you meant villains because that omitted the eyes of the Midnight Sun. And the Midnight Sun's 4 members are great, but you also said they're antagonists, not villains. So you're trying to classify them in that category, hence you didn't say or say much about them. Yes. I did forget about Revici's redemption, but it was also pretty bad. It was mainly played for comedy, and it didn't make a whole ton of sense, but being for comedic value, it was okay. And yes, I should have specified that I meant villains because the Eye of the Midnight Suns are absolutely fantastic characters, but they're written more like tragic anti-heroes as opposed to straight up villains. They play their, oh god, do I have to go to another video? I think I do. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay. I say, because the Eye of the Midnight Sun are absolutely more like as opposed to straight up villains. They play the role as antagonists in their arcs perfectly, but they are being manipulated the whole time, which makes them not the biggest villains of the show. And then finally, we have another comment from Andrew Botway on this video now. He says, I agree with the villain take, but the Dark Triads are all perfect parallels to Asta, Yuno, and Noel. In one way or another, they're tied to each other and affected our protagonists' lives. Oh god. Dante is a damn near perfect mirror parallel to Asta, which I can explain if need be, and his ideology is very good. Not to the level of the Pain's cycle of hatred. I'm assuming this is Naruto, but more fleshing out Dante's ideology could be up there. And avoiding slight spoilers is, oh my god, Xenon is the most interesting. There's a lot of subtle hints that show him being a psychopath. In oh my god, this is written like it's Dutch. There's a W and a J in the word interesting, which is an interesting point. Unlike the other two, he doesn't enjoy the thrill of fighting or killing. He just gets the job done. Think Hit from Dragon Ball Super. I have not seen Dragon Ball Super. There's a lot more to Xenon than I'm assuming, yes, mangaka has shown us. Even in the manga, and funnily enough, haven't really seen much of the Dark Triad, which is why I can't explain for spoilers. Thank you for not spoiling me. I'm an anime only so far. When the series ends, I'm probably going to switch to manga though. He says also, if you simply Google the Dark Triad, you can see which character corresponds to each trait. Okay. So there is quite a lot to address here. I understand that the Dark Triads parallel our protagonists, Austin, Yuno, and Noel. That makes sense with what I've seen set up so far. However, it does not change the fact that even though they're set up to be parallels and set up to counter certain protagonists, it doesn't make them any more. It doesn't give them any more depth. It doesn't change that Dante's theme is malice and he just wants to kill people, or that Xenon is like very emotionally not there and simply gets the job done, and it doesn't change the fact that, oh god, what was the last one's name? The female member of the Dark Triad, that she's a sadist. It doesn't really change any of that. Most of them are just evil to be evil, and that's about it for their characters. If their character changes as the manga continues, cool. I guess I can't really talk that, hey, if it takes this long, to introduce a well written villain, it writes it out pretty much completely, because I feel like My Hero Academia doesn't get a villain that's so well fleshed out until like a while in. But this is a long time to have characters simply there to be there. Like, the reason why the Dark Triad took over the Spade Kingdom was simply because like they wanted to. Like, they didn't want to do anything idealistic with it. They didn't have ideas of improvement or ways the country should be run that's different. They didn't have an idea on what makes the perfect person or who's allowed to be a citizen or not. They simply wanted to take over, and they just didn't care about anything and just wanted to attack people to open up the realm of demons for some reason. They might be really good parallels to our protagonists, but as standalone villains, they're fucking awful. They're just terrible. I hope it changes as it goes on, because I'm really loving the fight scenes, because they fight really cool. But when it comes to in-depth characters, they're about as flat as a piece of paper. Anywho, I think that's all I need to say. Leave a like on the video if you liked it. Leave a comment on who you think had the worst take in the whole video. Who you think had the worst opinion, who had the most trash to say, and it's allowed to be me. I'm allowed to have the worst opinions out of everyone here. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. We can all have a terrible take or a bad day. Anywho, yeah. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, but if you're watching a video of someone reading comments, you're probably already subscribed. So we're going to end this here. Have a good one, guys. See y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.